I don't know about you guys, but have you ever tried playing games while jacking off? Because like, I'm going to be dead last in this tournament if they accept me.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and joining me once again is Cryptic Panther.
Hey everybody.
Uberyoutuber.
Hello, ladies and gents.
And Fatti.
Hey, how's it going?
And we are back here today for you guys with a ton of gaming news. We've got a fully packed show here. And the brand new game of the week that we played last is hilarious, terrifying, awful, amazing, and just a whole rainbow of emotions that we were not prepared for. So we'll get to that towards the end of the show. But Uber, start us off first and talk to us about Sony.
Yeah, so Sony has hit a high in the first, or in the. Oh, let's start this again. Let's back up here.
Rewind.
Rewind.
Okay, go.
Sony becomes the most valuable Japanese electronics maker for the first time in 15 years. Just this week, as investors and analysts highlighted the profitability of films, music, and gaming. So most of that coming from digital revenue, I guess you could say. I'm sure some of that is console sales and other electronics for sure as well. But the stock closed on Tuesday at its highest level since January 2008 at 5,705 yen, which is about $51.30 US a share. So that's good news for Sony. I think a lot of that is due to like I would think the economy is doing well, especially here in the States. Sony's PlayStation products are doing well. A lot of first party exclusives would probably contribute to that as well. And yeah, everything seems to be going well for Sony.
Yeah,
Go Sony.
The 63 million PlayStation 4s has a lot to do with some of that, I imagine. But yeah,
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. All right, moving on. Panther, talk to us about a little bit about The Last of Us 2 and Ellie.
So everybody knows that unless you've been living under a rock or in a cave in Thailand, that
Wow, too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Wow, no, they escaped.
Yeah,
It's fine.
they're all in. So we're good. Yeah. But even that, before they were in the cave, they must have heard the news. But anyways, if not, they should be reading this article or listening to this podcast. So
that's the first thing they should be doing on their freedom. Yeah,
exactly. Beyond the Controller is number one. Like, you know, if the kids had a bucket list, you know, post cave.
Like, I gotta find out what game they're playing next week.
Oh, damn.
This is why we're going to hell.
Or hell's gonna be getting trapped in a cave. Yeah.
Oh, damn. So,
What were we talking about?
Last of Us Part 2. So Last of Us Part 2 is all about honoring Ellie. Naughty Dog has made a point of implying that she will be the only playable character. They said that about The Last of Us, that we would only play as Joel, and we didn't. So I don't know. Maybe they're lying a little bit. But anyways, in a new interview, Naughty Dog Vice President Neil Druckmann let slip that she'll have some rival. Yeah, Jesus. Can we get a rewind on that? She'll have someone else along for the ride. Jesus, I can't read. Well, so Ellie used to be an NPC, but she'll be the protagonist in this story. So I wonder who the NPC will be. Will it be Joel? Will it be a dog? Will it be a mountain lion named Skippy? Who the fuck knows?
No, it's gonna be her girlfriend.
Is it?
Hello.
It's got to.
How
Isn't there something at E3 that that showed her up on stage with the girl from Westworld?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, definitely. She's in it, but
Yeah.
we don't know who it is. I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons why Ellie's going on this murderous rampage in the original or the first trailer we saw for The Last of Us Part 2. Maybe it's because someone murdered her girlfriend.
Maybe.
we don't know the story, and I'm kind of glad I don't know a lot about the story. I don't want to know anything about the story.
Yeah.
I knew very little of The Last of Us going in on story. You knew a little bit, but you didn't know a lot. So it was so awesome. And that was like, to me, is still it's my top game. Nothing has dethroned that yet. So, well, until this comes out next year or maybe the year after, who knows? But yeah, so we got confirmation, and we all knew it. I mean, she was going to have somebody with her. And a lot of people were speculating Joel, and a lot of people were thinking Joel's dead. But during E3, he basically said that Joel was alive during at least this part of the trailer where they showed him in the tent having the hoedown. That Joel was still alive at that point of the game. So we know at this point at least Joel's not a ghost. So all the people that say Joel's a ghost, suck it. But yeah, so I mean, but somewhat confirmed, I guess, by Neil Druckmann that Ellie's gonna have an NPC character with her. But that's not really big news, but it's something.
It is, and information has come out about this game in a very, very slow process,
and I love it.
But yeah, I think it's best served for this type of game that's so heavy on story and dramatic moments and everything like that. The less we know in this type of game, the better.
I agree.
All right, Fatti, take us to one of the weirdest articles that we've talked about so far.
Are you not going to do yours, or?
You know what? Can I get a rewind on
that? At least it's not just me. I thought, oh shit.
What is happening?
I'm having a rough start now.
We're 0-for-3 right now. Okay, so taking that back, I'm moving on to mine. So the loot box overlords, have finally been checked in a certain portion of the world. The Netherlands has been one of the only countries that have really moved forward with any type of legislation or any type of grounded threats to the video game companies over loot boxes. And kind of surprisingly, I guess, the first victim, you could say, in this whole process is Valve. So players of Counter-Strike Go and Dota 2 in the Netherlands were greeted with a message from Valve saying that the company had pulled item trading and Steam Marketplace transfers for both games. And it was because of the threat from the Netherlands government that they were going to prosecute video game companies who failed to alter their game's design after loot boxes were found to be gambling, like legally in those countries. So it's been a long time coming, since the player base has rose up to kind of go against this practice. It happened, very visibly and massively with Star Wars Battlefront 2. It kind of, went down again for a while as far as being, in every headline that you read. It wasn't for a few months. Back in April, the Dutch Gaming Authority said it had looked into loot boxes in 10 different games and found 4 contravened its Betting and Gaming Act. So they issued the warning to these places, and if they didn't change what they were doing or, somehow alter the process to satisfy the Dutch Gaming Company or Authority, then they were going to be hit with fines and, other legal things. So they said the Dutch Gaming Authority said it can impose administrative fines up to 830,000 euros, or if that is more, 10% of the company's worldwide turnover that violates that law. Wow. So yeah, it's a huge portion, actually. It's not just a slap on the wrist, because companies like EA, that's making billions of dollars, they get fined, $500,000, $1 million. I mean, they don't even sweat it.
Right.
It's nothing for them. But we're talking about 10% of the company's worldwide turnover, and not just for that game, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like they can dip into the entire company turnover. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like they're holding the company itself as its fault, not just one particular game or game developer. It's like the publisher type deal. So yeah, I'm all for this.
Absolutely. So they are not fucking around anymore. And who would have thought it would be the Dutch?
I really hope this spreads. And I guess, we had a story last week about Australia looking into it as well. I would imagine that naturally it is going to, now that it's out there in the forefront, ever since Star Wars kind of made it mainstream that people kind of knew about this or found out about this. Because even though these game modes have made billions of dollars, for companies like EA, I still think it wasn't, there's still a ton of people who didn't really know about it until the whole Star Wars thing went down and the public outcry was so large that it could no longer be swept under the carpet. So this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen to the rest of the world. Some of these bigger countries get behind this, maybe.
It's definitely going to force some companies to rethink how they do things.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if that's going to end up being just a different version of the game for that country. Kind of like, we've had the conversation multiple times over the past couple of years in different forms of the swastikas being absent from World War II games based on certain, legal requirements in certain countries. So they have just omitted them instead of doing different versions of the game. I wonder how, if this becomes more widespread, how that's going to be played out as well. Because like Uber said, these companies make a lot of money. I mean, either hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, especially since they've been introduced. It's definitely up in the billions that they've made from this loot box predatory system.
And the crazy thing is some of these games are kind of built on this model.
Yeah,
oh, definitely.
A lot of developers have kind of shifted their focus towards this. So now they're gonna have to rethink how they make games again. So it's kind of interesting how it's gonna all play out if we're gonna go back to the more traditional approach where everybody just pays $60 for a game and that's the product you get, or what's gonna happen, because games like all these sports games, they make most of their revenue through this. It's not even the initial buy-in anymore, the $60 game. I mean, they make most of their revenue off of these microtransaction and loot boxes and pack openings and things like that, bundles. So it's going to be interesting.
What will be happening then is the game will be $60 and then everything is going to be broken down into payable DLC. It's going to go back to that business model again.
Well, and you know what? In a way, I'd be happier.
Yeah,
in some cases,
I was going to say
sure.
that's going to be an improvement, right? Because right now you may be paying $100 for a loot box or a bundle and not even know what's in that thing.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. But I mean, like that's the thing. Depending on the game itself, I mean, DLC is the way to go. But if it's the whole argument, the Battlefield games has always been DLC splits the community. So cosmetics has kind of seemed to where everyone's willing to spend money. So that's going to always be a revenue stream going forward. I see it. But yeah, loot boxes are becoming a thing of the past, and I'm not going to be sad to see them go. But I don't want us to go back to the land of constant fucking DLC drops and season and more exclusive shit through season passes and shit
sure,
like that.
Everything behind a paywall.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be one or the other, and I mean it's tough to get a fair balance, but someone somewhere is going to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too during this conversation. Is we're in a very weird spot with gaming right now, because there's been clear movements and trends that we've seen. We talked about this even last time.
Yeah.
And now with I think the next big thing gamers or gaming companies are trying to push on us is this whole live service model. That's kind of been the buzzword lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to see that either, because, if you buy something knowing it's not a full finished product, but on the promise of it continuously getting developed and stuff added to it. And I'll bring up Star Wars Battlefront 2 as the prime example for me right now in my head, is that game was pushed as a live service. And it failed. It's been a year since release, or it will be a year on release since they get a brand new map for the biggest game mode. And this is something that they said, we're going to have, everything, it's going to be monthly. It's going to be constantly updated. We're going to have new content all the time. And then the whole loot box thing hit. They had to go back and scrap the entire way the game was designed, because as Uber said, they designed the game around the loot box model. So that derailed it. And there was, wishy-washy reports from the community manager, Forge, on Reddit, to where he told somebody that there was 100 people working on the game at one point, and then a day later, he said there was more than 12, which is way too specific for me. So I'm thinking,
that means 13.
That's 13 guys.
Yes.
But for a major AAA title on the biggest IP on the world, for a live service game, you've got 13 people, and they're not cranking out anything.
Well, they announced a boatload, and I mean like a fucking boatload of stuff at E3 that's coming. So
Well, yeah, but that roadmap was,
well, I
over
mean,
the next year.
they burnt the roadmap because of the fucking whole debacle with loot boxes. So I think the whole fucking team that was doing all that was pulled to put on fixing the broken issues they come out with. So
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Well, but here's my thing though, to get back on track, is that if that's an indicator of what a live service model is going to do for us, then I'm scared as shit for Battlefield 5, because when they tell us, it's going to be a live service constantly updated, we're going to have all these things. That's all well and good, and that's promises, but it's promises from a company that I don't trust, that has a proven negative track record for the gamer. And it's also not telling me specifically what I'm going to get, what I'm going to be paying my money for.
true.
Because when Battlefield 3 launched and they said, well, there's going to be 5 expansions, you can buy premium to cover all of it or buy them individually, whatever. I know in each one of those expansions, there's going to be, 3 to 5 maps. There's going to be a whole new slew of weapons. It's a ton of content. I knew exactly what the value was before they had even started developing any of that stuff.
That's
In
true.
a live service model, you get the promise of, oh yeah, we're going to pack this thing. It's going to be constantly whatever. But if they don't give you specifics, then that's their out to not give you anything.
I agree. There needs to be a roadmap. There needs to be transparency before you become an investor into the product.
Yeah.
So
I'm extremely wary of this live service push that we're going to now, especially if loot boxes are getting scrapped within the next 5 years, if we don't see them, in really any games anymore, just because it's not going to turn profitable if they're getting, fined for all this stuff. If that happens and we go towards a live service, quote unquote, then I just really, really hope that they can turn the corner and do this responsibly for the gamer, because
I hope the product just doesn't turn to shit either. That's just that. Yeah, I fear that. We're in a weird place though, like you said, Baker. We kind of have the two extremes now. We live in a world now where you can buy like a $150 version of NBA 2K, or you can play all these like free to play games, which was never really a big thing 10 years ago, right? That was, historically, that was never a thing. Free to play games.
No.
If it was free to play, it was shit.
Free to play was solitaire on your phone, or
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just the bare bones shit. And granted, there's plenty of shit games out there, but there's also some pretty fun ones.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that later. But we're in a weird place. You can either spend tons of money to play a single title, and still not have all the content within that game. Or you can play games for free and and then choose where you would like to spend your money within that game.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange place.
Mm-hmm.
Strange and interesting. Good thing we've got a podcast to cover it, though.
Yeah. I'm excited for this next topic, by the way.
Yeah, let's try this again. Fatti, one of the weirdest topics we've ever heard of or discussed. Talk us through it.
So like most mobile gamers, myself, I have been on the bus or in the office kind of sitting there thinking to myself, I really wish I could make money while playing a mobile tank game where I get to bang anime chicks.
Haven't we all?
Exactly. That's a common thought, right?
And that's the dream.
Luckily, that's happening now. Adult game site Nutaku, Nutaku.net, and YouPorn are joining forces to hold the world's first adult gaming esports tournament.
Wait, is that Nutaku as a nut?
Yeah, like nuts. Like
okay.
Yeah. It's going to be called the Lewd Gaming Championship, and of course, it's sponsored by YouPorn. And basically, what they're doing is they're putting up a $25,000 prize pool for people to basically play this mobile tank game. It's like, you've all heard of World of Tanks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that, except the graphics are worse, and there's anime chicks that you bang. It's called Tanks and Tits. And they're going to be choosing, you have to register for this, and they're going to be choosing 64 players to sort of duke it out in this game where you blow each other up with tanks and then try to seduce anime women so they'll be your girlfriend and create a harem for you to ride around your sweet ass tank and crush shit with. So basically what's going to happen is once the registration goes live, you're going to be able to join in, start playing, and I assume they haven't clarified, but I assume they're probably going to pick the top 64 players and just go from there. Now, I don't know how they're breaking down the $25,000 prize pool. I'm sure not all of that is going to first prize, but it's going to be sort of a tiered prize deal, but for any participant of the tournament, you also get a 12-month subscription, premium subscription to YouPorn, which is, I mean, that's almost worth it right there.
For
Just
sure.
participating.
Daddy like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in a world where you can get tons of free porn, there's nothing better than premium. So I looked into this game a little bit because, and you know what? I'm going to enter this. I'm going to register. I'm going to see what we can do. But I looked into this game, and the description's gold. It says, prepare for the next generation of mobile games that features fast-paced PvP tank warfare with real-time players, sexy militants, exceptional HD graphics, and highly customizable game elements. Interact with your friends and military hotties on the go. The HD graphics is a lie, but there's naked anime chicks all over the place, so who cares?
Exactly.
But yeah, what do you guys think? I don't know.
I mean,
this is kind of a cool concept.
What are you supposed to do with this, though? I mean, like, because I don't know about you guys, but have you ever tried playing games while jacking off? Because, like, I'm going to be dead last in this tournament if they accept me.
I've got an answer for you. Did you know that they have phone cases out there that are attached to a fleshlight?
Son of a bitch.
There you go, Baker.
Wait, it's Prime Day. I got this. Dude, I don't even know what to say about this. This is so weird.
Tits and Tanks, is that what the name of the game is? I saw the
Tits
trailer.
and Tanks, yeah. It's an Android game, so Apple users, sorry, but it's Android only.
Yeah, get
but
titty fucked elsewhere.
just the website itself, nataco.net. I've been going through it, and some of the shit on there is just gold.
Yeah, we had a little discussion of the night where I opened it up the link and I clicked on the games and I'm looking at a couple of them now and like they're a bunch of free to play games and they are just read the descriptions and watching the little clips included. They're fucking hilarious. But I am going to warn you, the link is going to be in the description and it's not safe for work.
Yeah, do not open this at your office. You will get fired.
Yeah, this is not this link. I'm gonna like not safe for work the fucking shit of this link. So yeah, I'll be nice to put it in there for you. But remember, if you click on the link, get fired. It ain't my fault. But I love the on the art, like at the bottom of the page where all the games are listed. It says available at your desktop. Nataku.net offers the best selection of porn video games and free sex games. And it goes on, you know, blurbs about all this sexy dating and shit. And it says downloadable porn games that you can own on your mobile sex game. What? Oh, sorry. Own. That doesn't even word it right. It's not me. It's the fucking article. Mobile sex games for when you're on the go. Immerse yourself in the sex-soaked game today. Like, that is just too fucking funny. This is gold. And I mean, Fatty's gonna win us $25,000.
I was gonna float an idea that say we should all do this and see how far we can place. And if we do win the $25,000, I mean, we could all use a computer upgrade, right?
Damn
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Damn right.
Or that barrel of lube.
Barrel of lube, we can finally order
Yeah.
55-gallon drum.
I'll do it for a lifetime premium membership to YouPorn.
It's only 12 months, but I mean that's still 12 months of just daily fapping. So
Yeah, and free premium porn on YouPorn.
best.
Come
You
on.
can get VR porn in their premium section too.
Yeah,
Oh
come on.
shit.
So yeah, are we all gonna sign up?
I'll sign up.
I am. I'm already signing up.
I can't let you guys
Diving
sign
head
up
first
without
into
me.
this.
Yeah.
Fatty got early access.
You've been practicing all day.
Level 20 already.
Slow down, you have blisters. All right, so you heard here, folks. The Beyond the Controller is going to enter the adult gaming esports tournament. All right.
Fuck. Let's get off this topic.
Jesus.
Uber, talk to us about the worst game that's really popular right now. What's going on with that?
Hey man, this is really cool. I'm excited about this. So Epic Games, the makers of Fortnite, as many of you guys may know, they've made a ton of money on this game. According to this article, we'll link it below, they've made an estimated $318 million in June alone. just on
Fuck
cosmetic
Wow.
items in game, which is insane. I mean, that's an insane number right there. 318 million in 1 month. So now, obviously, Epic Games also owns, they own the Unreal Engine as well as the platform, which they sell a lot of these resources to other developers and gaming companies, such as sound effects, coding blueprints, graphics, and all that kind of stuff. And they will now offer an 88-12 revenue split. So any developer that buys any of their resources on their platform is only going to pay 12% to Epic Games from whatever they profit on their games. Not only that, that's pretty cool. That seems like a pretty decent revenue split right there. But they're also going to apply that bigger payout retroactively to any developer that sold assets in the marketplace since 2014. So they're actually going to be cutting checks to these developers going back 4 years and paying them some money back. To me, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat because I mean, how many games use the Unreal Engine in some capacity? And how, there's tons of games, smaller developers, and some of these guys are actually going to see a check in the mail for some pretty good, pretty sizable money, it looks like, depending on how much you've sold, how many units you've sold. But let's see here.
I mean, what they're doing, I mean, it's definitely a positive, but then they're just going to turn around and have 14 more purple pants for you to buy in Fortnite next week.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a way for them to give back, right? I mean, hey,
I'm just,
and they don't need to do that. That's the thing. They don't need. Would EA do this? Is my question. Would EA ever give money back to anybody? No. Unless they were legally forced to, and even then they would. They would put up a fight. So for them to just come out and be in front of this and just say, hey, we've made so much money with this game. More than we ever anticipated making, I think. I don't think anybody at Epic Games ever foresaw this kind of success that Fortnite has become. For them to come out and say, hey, we're cutting everybody a good deal here, and we're even going to make it retroactively and give everybody... So that, it's not just trying to sell more of their assets to developers. They're also giving back to people who supported them back in, all the way going back to 2014. I think it's pretty cool. That's a cool story.
It is.
You don't see that enough.
No, you don't. And it's awesome. It is.
Yeah, for anybody or any company, in any event, however it happens, somebody just says like, wow, dude, I made like way too much money, actually. This isn't fair, so here, have some.
Right. This is the equivalent of like your buddy. You go into the casino with your buddy and your buddy hitting big on roulette and buying everybody drinks, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like,
more than that, like cars.
Right.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome, and I'll give them props where it's due. They can't make a game, but they can make a check, and that's admirable.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, like you said, props to them for giving back for sure.
All right, so Panther, talk to us about Nathan Fillion. He's had some interesting activity going on.
Yeah, so unfortunately, can't speculate any longer.
Right.
Because it's been revealed. We were hoping to get this out yesterday. So, anyways, the other day he posted a picture of Drake the singer. Now, I don't follow Nathan Fillion on Instagram, but I do follow him. I do follow him on Twitter. And he did tweet this as well. But he sent out a picture of Drake, the rapper. And everyone knows that Nathan Fillion looks like Nathan Drake from Uncharted series. Anyways, and he tweeted or he posted the Instagram photo and he put Sick Parvis Magna. Anyone that plays Uncharted knows that's from the Uncharted games. So everyone's like, oh my god, Drake, Uncharted. Everyone's freaking out. The internet went fucking apeshit, like, over this Instagram post. It was everywhere. Twitter, there was like 6 Reddit posts on it. It was nuts. So then the next day, he posts another picture of a map and a magnifying glass and some like old school type papers and old maps and old etchings and shit. People are still losing their fucking minds. It's like really going out there big time. But today, we found out what it was. It is a fan-made, like, not really a trailer, but it's a fan-made movie, I guess. What do you call it? A movie? Yeah.
Just a little fan film.
Yeah, a little fan film.
Yeah, it's
And
like a short.
Yeah, it's like just under 15 minutes long. And I'm linking his Instagram if you don't follow it. And I'm linking also the video in the description so you can see the pictures and watch the trailer. And or the movie. I actually watched it just before the recording. And it's actually not bad. I mean, it's like Nathan Fillion. I mean, he's a good actor. He's got that good comedic, the sarcasm he does well. And it fits him to play Nathan Drake. It does. Because he's that type of an actor, and Nathan Drake being that type of character. This is not a Sony project. This is completely fan made. There's no involved with Naughty Dog or Sony in this at all. So this is just he done it as just being a fan of, I guess, the game, and being a fan of his own fans, because people have been saying he's Nathan Drake since the game come out. So it was fun to watch. It was entertaining, and I hope he does more, or maybe this is going to lead to something bigger.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we've seen instances of these little fan films, before. For me, the best one that's been made was what's Thomas Jane, reprising his role as the Punisher, almost a decade after his version of the movie came out. And it was this little short called Dirty Laundry. And it was, him as a Punisher once again, just older. And I want to say it was only like 15, 20 minutes or something like that. It wasn't very long, just like this. And it was just kind of a fan service, to say that, people have been clamoring for many years for this guy to do this again. And same instance with Nathan Fillion and Uncharted, overwhelming support over so many years and nothing official ever really happened. So it was just kind of, a little fun thing to do for them, I'm sure. And it was a nice nod to the whole fan base. I think it's pretty awesome.
Well, someone made a comment that Ryan Reynolds done something, and then it kind of got the Deadpool movie rolling. I don't remember ever seeing anything. Maybe the comment was an off-the-cuff thing, but someone on Reddit made a comment.
Oh, it was it was an animated version of that highway scene from the first one.
Okay, that's what it was. Maybe I did see it then, but I didn't realize that was a fan project that ended up turning around and into making the Deadpool movie. So,
yep.
But I mean, and anyone that's been following this, there's been talk for a number of years on an Uncharted movie, and is the young fellow's name Tom Holland? Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
The young fellow that plays the new Spider-Man. He's supposedly been already cast as a young Nathan Drake. So a lot of people were thinking, well, is Nathan Fillion going to play Sully, or is Nathan Fillion going to play an older Nathan Drake? And so there's been a boatload of speculation thrown around. People have been like all for it. People have been all against it. People are against Tom Holland now because they want Nathan Fillion. It's just people just lose their minds over the littlest thing. And I thought it was kind of cool how he was making these cryptic posts. But I mean, I'm not disappointed when I got, but I wonder if a lot of people on the internet are probably disappointed.
Yeah, because normally when an actor teases something, and especially something that's been hyped by the fan base for so long, you kind of feel like it's official, right?
Yeah. And
when I found out that this was for a fan film, I was disappointed.
I'll admit it. Yeah, when I first heard it too.
This may help getting a movie going, though. Seeing the response and the views it's getting, and the social media people talking about it, getting. I mean, I would be ecstatic to get.
I mean, this has been thrown around for a long time, and then, like I said, the article that was like last year, a year and a half ago, stating that Tom Holland was signed on already. So there's a movie is apparently in the works, whether it's been halted or what's going on with it. We haven't got any official word like that. There's a script's even finished, but so I mean, like, there's so much speculation that people have been clamoring for it. It kind of it was a neat thing to do, but also, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, as a Uncharted fan and an Nathan Fillion fan, I was a little disappointed that it was only a fan film, but it was good.
Yeah. How is this not a movie yet? Sony makes movies, right?
Exactly.
Sony makes Uncharted.
Well,
Uncharted is a huge hit. I mean, I would think everybody knows about the series, or at least
we're still waiting for the Last of Us movie that has been started and stopped 6 times.
Right.
So,
but I think Uncharted is still a little bit more mainstream than The Last of Us. I think. to where I mean, it could be like a modern day Indiana Jones.
Well, that's
film
kind of what it is.
Surely
right?
everybody could go see.
That's exactly what it is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I want it. I want it now.
Okay, go get it.
Yeah, go fetch. Let us know when you got
I
it.
can cast as one of the fat goons. I'm on board. Sony, if you're listening to this,
Oh, they are.
not if, but when you are.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
right.
could be a truck driver, that gets blown up and knocked off the road or something, Hey,
Totally.
I got no
Totally.
problem with that. I could be the weird fat guy with the limp in the corner. I don't know. Find a spot for me. I'll help you. I don't have a limp, but I can pretend I have one. But we'll figure something out. Come on, Sony, call me.
Yeah. Contact our people. All right, so moving on here, there is a new co-op shooter that really hasn't made much of a splash, actually. I've had this on my watch list for a while. It's called Earthfall, and it's released now by the time this podcast comes out. It's released on PlayStation 4. It's also on Steam as well. I believe this is on Xbox also. So pretty much anywhere you can find it, it's available. It's a cooperative shooter for up to 4 players. You use team-based tactics to fortify, like kind of a stronghold or different areas to withstand enemy attacks, complete objectives, work together with other players to survive. Now, currently, it's got a total review on Steam. 69% of the users are positive in their reviews.
Yeah.
So it's mixed. Recent reviews in the last 30 days are a little worse. 56% of the reviews are positive. So really not making a splash at all. Not many people are finding this to be an enjoyable experience, but it does look cool. Like I said, I've had this on my watch list for a while. It looks, as by way of the comments here, people that are even not recommending this are basically saying it's a clone of Left 4 Dead, which, we have fun with. They say it's essentially the same aim as that. It's an Unreal 4, though. Apparently, there's some similarities to Call of Duty Ghosts. You can put up the barriers, which Battlefield is now adapting in their game. So I guess it's just kind of Left 4 Dead with friends, and you can also build stuff, fortifications and defensive structures. So it could be fun. Like I said, I would like to play this. I don't think I want to pay $30 for it.
No.
So
No.
that's my main thing that I'm not going for right now.
Well, that was the same thing with me. I'd seen some gameplay or trailer for this a little while ago, and as soon as I saw it, I was watching how it played out. Actually, it was a YouTube video, a fellow playing it. I'm like, why does this game seem so familiar? And I was like, it's like fucking Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2. And yeah, I mean, it looked kind of cool, but yeah, the Steam reviews turn you off big time. I mean, the game looks good. It seems to play well with the video that I did watch. But yeah, people were complaining that there's not a lot of maps, and the replayability kind of drops off. And it's aliens instead of zombies, so at least it's not zombies. But yeah, I mean, like I was kind of sad when I seen the Steam reviews kind of tanking the shit out of it. So hopefully down the road things will change, and the game will maybe get some maybe more maps added to spruce it up, and maybe they'll allow mods, and that'll generate some interest at least on PC.
Yeah, I was gonna say mods are probably the way to go, for a game that would need more resources and development. Just basically it would start draining more money, especially if it's got to climb behind mixed reviews. Then I would say just open it up to mods, and the community will do the work for you. I don't know why more games don't do that.
Yeah, definitely. And too bad consoles aren't more open. At least I know Xbox did allow some, and I know Sony, I think, is allowing some. But yeah, I mean, mods need to kind of become a little more of a thing for everybody, just so that people can find more playability out of games. I definitely don't see a problem with mods, as long as they're not cheats. Yeah.
But yeah, new game to watch out for if you guys are itching for a Left 4 Dead successor. It's basically the same game, but with aliens.
Yeah.
So that's out now. It's called Earthfall. Moving on, Fatti, talk to us about actually something that shocks the hell out of me.
I'm fired up about this.
Yeah, so am I actually. So last week, it appears YouTube's been taking some sort of unnoticed action against basically any YouTuber that is promoting their stream on Twitch using YouTube videos. Now, as anyone who knows, who subscribes to people on YouTube or browses their YouTube feed, it's not uncommon to come by a 45-second video basically stating that this YouTuber is over on Twitch and they're doing some sort of stream. Apparently, now YouTube is taking action without any kind of notice. It's terminating accounts when this comes up. Three notable examples that came up was Linus Tech Tips, which is everyone in the tech world knows about him. Yeah. Cerny and Astrosist, which I'm not too familiar with. All three of them got their accounts terminated temporarily after they basically released a small video promoting their Twitch stream.
It was just their streaming ability, right? Their YouTube account wasn't suspended. Their ability to stream on YouTube.
From the quote, it says, "My account was terminated without warning."
Yeah, it was full terminations. Like, their accounts were gone. Now, obviously, their accounts have been placed back after they went to Twitter and sort of kicked up a sandstorm. It seems YouTube was like, well, shit, maybe we shouldn't do this. But they said that their accounts were terminated without notice. As most people, if you watch Linus Tech Tips, he does his WAN show on Twitch. And he just released a video saying, hey, we're live on Twitch. And I think it was within a couple hours after that, his channel was gone. Obviously, it came back fairly quickly because when you have that sort of influence over a community, companies tend to listen to you. But through reading through this article, this isn't new. So this sort of promoting another company or promoting people to go off-site to watch other things, that's against YouTube's terms of use. But the action itself, this enforcement is new. They haven't enforced anything up until this point. You might have got a few community strikes or one of your privileges, such as streaming, taken away. But out and out terminating accounts, they've never done this. And apparently this is without notice. Luckily, these guys got their channels put back, but I don't know how many other were affected by this who maybe we haven't heard of, smaller YouTubers. I know me and Uber and Panther and Baker, we all stream on Twitch, but we also do YouTube as well. I imagine this could happen to us real easily.
Well, the thing is, I've never done one of those promotion videos.
And neither have I.
I mean, you can take.
I have.
You can, yeah. And there's a small YouTuber, Kurt J. Mack. I noticed he put one up not long ago. His channel, as far as I know, is still up. And I know Linus, just the other day, he done a live stream where they actually got their live streaming ability back on YouTube because they promised to never do one of those videos again. But yeah, it's usually you get a community guideline strike, and that removes your ability to do a lot of stuff on your channel. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand a little bit. I mean, yeah, they should have dropped a big warning. In other words, hey, we're not allowing this anymore. We never have, but they should.
Yeah, there should have been some notice.
Yeah,
That's so YouTube, though. They don't communicate with their creators, and I hate that. I absolutely hate it. I've done it. I have absolutely done it. And the reason I've done it, you know what? 3 years ago, I went to E3, and they had this huge YouTube gaming booth set up, and it was like the new thing. And I hopped on board. I hopped on the bandwagon. I wanted to stream on YouTube. I knew about Twitch. I knew Twitch was the streaming platform of choice for virtually anyone. But I thought, okay, if I start streaming on YouTube, maybe I'll get in front of it, and maybe it'll take off. Maybe it becomes the next big thing. Well, they really haven't done a whole lot to make that service friendly for creators or viewers. And they've done some things to try to keep up with Twitch, but they really are lacking, and that's the only reason I went over to Twitch. And I've done those videos trying to funnel more people onto my Twitch channel. But my big thing, and I think you guys agree with that, is the lack of communication from YouTube. Again, they continue to just act without any kind of communication to their creators. And these guys may have gotten their channels back, but like Fatti alluded to, what about who knows how many other accounts were just banned, and we will never hear their story. We will never know what happened to them, and they may have had 300 subscribers, they may have had 500 subscribers, but that's that's a lot. I mean, for them to lose their channels, to me, that's a bummer. Without any kind of warning,
Exactly.
it's just.
I mean, I like
it's
I
such
said,
a YouTube thing to do.
being always in their community guidelines, I get that. I get it being a rule. But if they've never enforced it, and then all of a sudden just start, like, especially Linus, he's like 6 million subs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, to just go,
sure.
oh, this guy's 6 million subs, fuck him, we're just gonna. Either someone flicked the switch and fucked it by mistake, or what? I don't know. I don't think YouTube ever come back with an official response of what happened.
No,
And
they've been
will.
really quiet about this. They haven't commented on it
Shocking.
too much. But I think this is them prematurely taking action because they're starting to see people move away from YouTube. All of the decisions, all of the choices they've made in the last 2 years without any kind of communication with their creators has hurt them. And so they're seeing not only those creators leave, but all of that revenue. So they're starting to act without thinking just to try and hold on to people, but it's going to hurt them in the end.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, they don't have a rule against you taking your Twitch stream and re-uploading it to YouTube. They don't have a policy against that because you're not driving them away from YouTube. It's putting those videos up and saying, hey, I'm on Twitch, come watch me there. That's what they don't like. And I mean, I kind of get that. You wouldn't want to be run a McDonald's and have, the Burger King guy stand in the fucking doorway telling everyone
handing out coupons.
No, exactly. It's competition.
They're going about it the wrong way, though. What they need
I
to
agree.
do, what they need to do is just talk to the community and say, listen, we're all about supporting you as a content creator. We want you on our platform. So what we're going to do for you is provide you with access to simultaneously stream to both, to where your YouTube people can stay on YouTube and they can watch your stream. And you can do on Twitch as you like, but we want to keep our audience here.
Right. That's what they need. They need a guy. They need a guy that's like a community guy, somebody that, maybe not a guy, but a team of people, and maybe set up a program for people to maybe do some feedback and QC and suggestions and things like that. YouTube is so blocked off to all those things, and they're just not only are they not communicating with their users, their consumers, their customers essentially, but they're also not listening to them either.
No.
There needs to be some kind of program set up where creators, and especially like you see you see huge YouTubers complain about YouTube all the time, and that's their livelihood, that's their job. Yep. And these are people with tens of millions of subscribers, and they complain about YouTube. You would think life should be good for these guys, or you would think these guys should have some kind of influence, right? I mean, YouTube should be watching this, right? Because these guys are really their bread and butter, and yet they seem to always get it wrong, and they just, I don't know what it is.
Some big CEO in a fucking suit doesn't understand it,
right? I swear it's man. It's
I look at like small YouTubers. I mean, like myself and Fatti and Gladys is. None of us are monetized on YouTube. Right?
No, not at all.
Because we don't have 1,000 subs and we don't have 100 hours of watch time or whatever the limit is, and they stripped monetization from anybody. Oh, in other words, if you don't have this many subs and this many watch hours, then you can't make a dime. But they still I'm pretty sure they put a fucking ad roll on some of my videos. Guaranteed. They're making money off my videos. And I mean, I know they're doing that to recoup their bandwidth charges, and that's fine. But I can go on Twitch, and I can stream on Twitch, and I can put up a donation tab, and I can get people to give me money on Twitch. I can't do that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
You may be able to, but it's cumbersome, and nobody will ever see it.
I know there's a sponsor thing and a sponsor button, and you can do that, but it's definitely not user
but you got to
friendly.
qualify for that too,
right? To be the content creator, you have to qualify to be able to do that in your own stream,
right?
So,
and you can put a link in your description, but how visually enticing is that for people?
No.
You look at Twitch. You can do all these other like cool things. You can put a donate button and all, it may be little things, but all those little things add up.
And like, I mean, to me, like I'm just trying to get into doing a little bit of live streaming, but I mean, I used to do YouTube videos because for me, it was easier for me to play and record like 4 or 5 episodes of videos and schedule them all to upload so that I could always have content flowing. a live stream takes an actual schedule and everything else, and yourself, Uber, because you're trying to do that whole Twitch thing, is it's sometimes not that easy to get on to stream at the same time, and you need to do that to keep your fan base. See,
Right.
YouTube scheduling videos is a little easier, at least it is for me. And for when I go for content, I'm more apt to go to YouTube, because if I'm watching a live stream, especially if I'm busy doing something else, where you mute it, and then you come back and you missed half of stuff that's went on, or if it's not like one of the DVR style live streams, you can't even rewind it, right?
Right.
So
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because before I grew up with YouTube, right? Like I was a kid, I was a teenager when it came out. That was my thing. So before, I wouldn't watch cable for entertainment. I would watch YouTube. But now, lately, I go to Twitch. I want to see live streams because I find people are putting more effort into it, because there might not be more monetary return, but there's definitely more return when it comes to the community.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're getting that interaction with the person, as long as they're reading their comments and interacting back with the community. You're definitely going to get that on a live stream. But I mean, to watch, I mean, like, I don't know, I don't watch a lot of live stream stuff. I mean, I'll watch, if you guys are on, if I'm not, if I'm not working, or if I'm like at home, I'll pop in and I'll usually razz the shit out of you in the chat or whatever and watch some of your stuff. But I don't seek out live stream just because it's to me, then I'm gonna schedule my time. It's like fucking watching cable back in the day without VCRs, right? I had to go back and schedule to watch, when I want to watch Uber, I gotta be, 8:30 on, through the week or whatever it is. But if I'm busy or I want to go, do something else, then I miss a live stream. Then you got to go back and watch a video anyways, like you're watching a YouTube video. So there's pluses and minuses to both. And I mean, the interaction is definitely really cool. Hey, jumping in the chat and saying stuff. And I was in the chat watching a Beat Saber video one day. I was everyone knows what Beat Saber is, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a Guitar Hero with lightsabers. Anyways, it was just, and the guy was playing, and I was interested in the game. So I watched his live stream, and he was chatting with everybody. People in the chat were like chatting back and forth, and I was having conversations with people. It was fucking neat, and that is cool. And you don't get that on YouTube most of the time. Because most of the time on YouTube, the chat is just filled with fucking people screaming about bullshit. And I mean, Twitch does that as well. But yeah, I mean, like for live stream content, Twitch always seems to be the place to go for at least live streams to me. But yeah, for actual video content, I always still stick to YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's a different service, but I mean, I don't think that YouTube is going to be a big thing 10 years from now. It's already kind of, going by the wayside now.
I
It's
agree.
just how they're handling themselves with
That's
it,
so spot on, Fatti. That's my big thing too. They're not helping matters by doing everything that people don't like. I mean, they're essentially they're the EA of streaming or entertainment platform. I mean,
Pretty
really,
much.
it's just, I don't know if they've gotten, their ego has gotten so big that they just they just don't do anything to listen to their community or to try to better the community. I mean, everything you see, it's just hate and people being mad at YouTube all the time. I haven't heard a cool story or a happy story about YouTube in a long time. Always seems to be towards the negative, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, and like I said, with YouTube kind of going out of the way, I don't ever go on YouTube really anymore. And as Fatti stated, growing up in the YouTube era, it was the big thing. And if your phone was capable of getting on YouTube, then you were on it. And it was, watching all kinds of things. I remember just watching fail videos and wanting to upload stuff, but watching just like movie trailers or music videos was the huge thing as well. I actually, sitting next to me, because I just cleaned out my desk, I have my old iPod video sitting right here. And this thing was a true gem. But I would download videos from YouTube and I would put them on here, and I'd watch music videos, and I'd watch episodes of Jackass because that was the time. And it was, YouTube was a part of the culture then, of like the internet and multimedia and watching these things. And now everybody seems just too damn busy, or like live streams are obviously making major headway
Oh, for sure.
in live promotion, and also as we've stated, community interaction, because it can't be beat. There's nothing better for somebody that wants to see their favorite gamer or get on stream with some friends or whatever, and having what feels like a conversation with that person.
Right. It's the inclusion factor, right? You
Yeah.
feel like you're included.
Yeah. It was 10 years ago. You leave a comment on YouTube if you watched a YouTuber, and if they liked it or commented back, that blew your mind.
Right.
That made your whole day or your week or whatever. And now I haven't left a fucking YouTube comment in years, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that disconnect is just something that's really driving them into the ground. And it goes twofold. It really seems like YouTube is just out there to make as much money as they can. The final quote in the article actually hits it right on the head. Someone just said, "Guess that shows you where YouTube's priorities are. Small and independent creators are not a priority. Big corporations and networks are." So it really just seems like they've kind of tossed their past to the past. They're no longer into it, and they just want to see how big and how much money they can make.
You're right. And that was a big thing with the Casey Neistats and Jimmy Kimmel, right? I don't know if you guys remember that a few months ago, or if Casey Neistat talks about a shooting or a bombing, it got demonetized, and he kind of showed that Jimmy Kimmel did a video talking about it on the same night, and it was just fine. It didn't get demonetized. It didn't get taken down.
Well, you look at
you can see that shift. And then YouTube TV, I think YouTube TV sponsored the NBA Finals this year. It was everywhere on TV. So you could see them becoming more of a network like ABC and Fox, rather than being just a user created. And that's what the beauty of it was to me. I think to most of us, right? That was the cool thing. And now you go on the front page of YouTube, and it's all high production value stuff. It's Jimmy Kimmel, it's Fox News, it's whatever. It's all movie trailers from Warner Brothers and whatnot. It's all just the big studios making content.
Their trending page is just a fucking train wreck.
It's a disaster.
I never go there.
Yes.
I when I go to open up a YouTube page, I go directly to my subscriptions, and that's it.
Right.
For me, the biggest thing on YouTube, and I watch most of the stuff I watch really is Neeb's Gaming is one of the biggest things I watch on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Because theirs is like a scripted, and that's not a live stream show, because it's a scripted gameplay style. It's highly edited. That's always going to have a place unless Twitch starts an actual video service where you can just upload. And I thought they were starting that.
They do. Yeah, they have it.
Oh, they actually you can just go and upload a video now without having to live stream it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I knew there was a big talk of it happening. So unless that becomes a big monetized platform for people, they won't leave YouTube, because that's where they make their money. Because like Neeb's Gaming, they do live streams on Thursday nights, but they don't do live streams as their sole form of income. That's what their YouTube channel is their money for their animations they do, and for their other content they create using video games. Like they do story driven type videos. So that content, unless it becomes a major monetized thing on Twitch, I can't see a lot of those fellows leaving. But people who just do playthroughs, they could move over to Twitch if they could schedule, but then you get time zones and but I mean, if the video side of Twitch ever grows to challenge YouTube is really in trouble.
Yep.
I agree.
Rip.
And Uber,
and not really for us to be worse off either,
Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
Uber, what are you gonna do when your name's Uberyoutuber? What are you gonna do with that?
I already started the transition. Uber White Twitch. I'm not a big fan of that. If you guys have any suggestions, those of you listening, let me know.
Uber White bitch.
I'm not.
Hey, I donated $1. I get a say in this.
That's but that was for the blowjob, I thought. I didn't know it was a 2-for-1 deal.
Man, you broke your own rule. You advertised price.
You're only charging $1 for blowjobs?
Oh shit!
Damn.
You're undercharging, man.
It was sloppy.
I'm heading to
He's
California.
overcharging. There was some teeth there.
Oh.
Oh, damn, off the rails.
Good. So yeah, we've hit the hour mark. We tried getting through as many topics as we could. We still have some left, but we're gonna go ahead and cut it short here. The last thing that we're gonna do, the last big thing here, is the what did we play for this week? We've kind of teased it, both on Twitter and in various points of the podcast here, but we got on this game, and Uber, it was your fault, right?
Yes.
That we okay.
My fault, or
You graced us with this wonderful game of the year contender.
Yes, that sounds better.
Okay, so the game that we played is called Rules of Survival. And for those of you that have had to burn your phone based on all the malware that you downloaded onto it from playing this mobile game, it should be no stranger to you. It's now been moved into PC, but kind of weirdly to where it feels like you're downloading it from somebody's, basement server, is how you have to set this up. Doing it without instruction is nearly impossible. So you have to have somebody, and for me, that's what makes it feel like a pyramid scheme, which is what I thought it was at first. I thought that these guys were joking with me because we were originally supposed to play a different game. If we found out it was only 3 players, and then I thought I was getting catfished into downloading this game that was going to be utter bullshit, and they were just going to continue playing a different game by themselves. But no, much to my horror and delight, we actually got on to play this game. And before I go any further on about it, we've got some video footage for you guys. So we'll move to that right here, and we'll have a brief discussion afterwards. So go ahead and enjoy the video and catch us back in a few. All right, so now you you should be well versed in what can happen in rules of survival, and above all else, it should be clear there are no rules in this game.
the whole thing is how this got started was Uber made a comment on Twitter that he downloaded this game, and I'm like, what is this game? So I googled
Panther
it.
is always trying to troll me. So he was looking for a good comment to make, so he had to look it up.
And it was a mobile game ported to PC, and I'm like, this. And I went to Steam because I googled it and Steam came up. And I went to Steam, it was like $3.50, and the reviews were fucking horrible. Like, people are going, nothing but hackers to fucking lag, and they were like, it was like negative review after negative review. And I'm like, I'm tweeting them back going, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is, he says, no, you got to go to their servers, download it from their site, and it's free to play. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So
one of the many quirks this game has just upon installation. Like, there's a lot of stuff you got to do.
And if anyone's ever played a mobile game, when you install this game and you run it, you're like, this is a fucking mobile game on PC. It is ported, and it is bad, but it is so good. Me and Uber played it, and we had a fucking blast. So we got Fatti and Gladys to join us. And like I said, it was real the whole time. We're getting Gladys to install this and then go through the fucking setup process. He kept constantly saying, you guys are trolling me. You guys are fucking with me. And it was great.
This can't be real.
It was amazing. Yeah. And Fatty just kind of going along with it, like, fucking him in this deep. I'm just going to keep going. And when we finally
he dove into this game with more eagerness than he did for the YouPorn sponsored new taco game.
Wait, what? You have to click on this lol, scroll all the way down.
There's a matchmaking thing that you can do for dating on this shit.
Oh, that was my favorite feature.
Yeah.
Yes, like the in-game Tinder. I think that's an underutilized feature. I think more developers should adapt that.
If me and my baby mama ever break up, I'm gonna be swiping right a lot on that game to find that perfect match to play this battle royale with.
There you go. But man, like you seen the clips, and there's gonna be a longer video on the channel as always once we get around to getting the editing done. But yeah, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal is what this is. I mean, it could be game of the year.
This is a game to be played with friends to just fuck around, have a good time.
Yeah.
If you're playing by yourself, you're probably you got to think, what the fuck is this? But you got a couple buddies with you. Just try it out. It's free to play. Like Panther alluded to, don't download it on Steam. Apparently they use separate servers. Just download it straight from their website. We'll link it below. It's free to play. Just mess around with it. If you get a couple hours of fun out of it, like we did, it's worth it. Hey.
Oh, we're playing it again. We're playing it again.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. If anyone wants to play with me that listens to this, my name is Hentai Titties. Just look it up, and I've been gaming nonstop on this. It's actually.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've played it at least twice a day since we played.
If I was planning on doing a little bit of a live stream before we record, I just didn't have the time. I was gonna play it on live stream. I didn't know anyone else did.
Level 32 Hentai Titty.
Oh yeah.
Hentai Titties.
We're gonna load in with you again, and you're gonna be like totally just decked out in as many dildos as you can put on your character.
I'm aiming for the gay Final Fantasy jacket that they have.
Okay.
I'm really into the like shirtless leather long trench coat. Can't wait.
I just love how the four of us were all dressed the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The camo tank was a good look for us.
It definitely was.
It looked like a 90s boy band.
So yeah, rules of survival. It's a complete riot, and it's one of the few games. Obviously, we've been joking when we said game of the year, but it's a ton of fun as well as being awful.
But it's the gameplay isn't bad though.
Okay, let me rephrase. It's like do you guys remember the show? Oh, what's the fucking name of it? It was originally a Japanese show. It aired on like
MXC.
MXC, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah. Takeshi's Castle.
It's that version, but a game. It's it's bare bones. Like if you watched it, it's competitive, and it's basically a clone of PUBG. And this show, MXC was basically just a Japanese like funny show that they did competing, different obstacles and challenges or whatever. But the twist was that on American television, they just dubbed over the entire thing with ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that, but we have, a solid game, and then everything else about it is ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
So
at one point, I got stuck in a wall.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was literally halfway in a building, halfway out of the building, and I couldn't find my way out.
And the thing
in.
the thing I love when you get in the vehicle to drive it, if you didn't change the default settings, you controlled it with your mouse. Oh my god!
And you've got a like a touch screen. Uber kept having to remind us. It's like a phone screen. You have to click and then move to scroll through something.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's
great.
It is definitely worth it.
It's like if you gave PUBG full control to like a room full of 12-year-olds for a week. This is exactly what you would get.
But we'll give the warning, like we did for the not safe for work. Don't click on anything in the game that looks like you have to buy something. It is a mobile game. It is heavily cosmetic looking based as well. So I give it a negative for that, because it's like it's coins and diamonds and stars and Lucky Charms, and
it looks like a slot machine.
Yeah,
like a slot machine going off in front of
it's
you.
definitely like it's definitely flash and light overload. But yeah, I mean, like I said, actually the gameplay for what we played wasn't bad. So yeah, right. I mean, if you're looking for a free to play, fucking fun game, I'm gonna give it the Panthers approval.
Yeah, I think we all agree. Once again, every game so far that we've done for the game of the week, we've all concluded that it's worth a shot, worth playing, and it can be fun. At some point, we're gonna have to break this trend and get a bad game, but
yes,
not this week.
No.
And if you guys have any suggestions, let us know.
Oh, definitely.
It can be as ridiculous as you want it to be. I prefer it not to be $24.99.
Yeah,
free to play would be awesome.
Free to play, or like $1 game or something,
Yeah,
or if you got like 4 codes you want to send us.
Yes.
Yeah. So all their, like as always, all their ways to get a hold of us is gonna be down in the description.
Yeah. So all of our Twitter handles, everything is going to be in the description of the video. All the articles that we talked about in this podcast is going to be linked in the description as well. For those of you guys on SoundCloud, we're of course talking about the YouTube description. And then our Twitter handles are all going to be listed as well. So keep up with us there. I know almost all of us are live streaming actually pretty regularly now. We've all really gotten back into it. Uber, of course, has been doing it forever, but the rest of us are now kind of hopping on board, and we're all on Twitch, not YouTube, just to make sure everyone knows that. But yeah, of course, thank you guys so much for listening once again, and check out the game of the week, and find us on our live streams. Just give us a shout out and say hey, and shoot the shit with us for a little bit. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want us to talk about, any games you want to suggest, do it either on the YouTube video, on our live streams, on Twitter, however you want to get a hold of us and it's convenient for you, go ahead and do it. And once again, on behalf of all the guys here on the Beyond the Controller podcast, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.